maybe take away about 6 snake beams. Like, I don't know, like, and how it was pre-2023, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Take away 1 brick and 1 wedge. That way, so there's only 1 of each, I think. Stop coming out with upgrade kits. All what you're doing is fucking the field owners.
Yeah.
It's one way for Tom Cole and Sup Air to drain money from the sport.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a fucking joke. I'll get on my high horse about this. Like, you're demanding people add bunkers every 2 years.
yeah.
And that star bunker, whatever you want to call it, that's not going to make it through.
All right. Well, welcome back to the Planet Paintball podcast. It is a late Sunday night. Oh, the podcast is brought to you by 1023 Sportswear and Southwest Paintball, Bayfield, Colorado. And it could have been brought to you by Green Goat tonight, but we'll see if that happens. Never know. Could also have been brought to you by Andy's Taco Shop. But in lieu of that, got one of my favorite people, favorite players, be with me, my brother. Figure we mix it up a little bit. You've done a lot of these that have not made it past the cutting room floor at this point.
Awesome track record right now.
Yeah, so you made the John one, right? You made an appearance in there.
Cars, but
Carnage and Cars, which
and that one didn't work out.
yeah, that was a really good one. So we'll definitely get some of that in here, but got a lot to talk about. Jungle Cats, congratulations, the newest pro team. If you're listening to this and you haven't listened to this before, A, give a like and subscribe, I guess. That's what the influencers tell you to say. And B, congratulations to the Jungle Cats, newest pro team. And you can check their story out back in the archives with Aaron Rios, Aaron Davis, and Ward. So Wesley Ward. Oh my gosh. That fucking sucks. My apology, guys. It's been a long day. Actually got to spend the first time in a while we got to play, well, about a month, right?
It's
Together.
been about 2.5 months for me.
2 months? Yeah. Since the 3-man, the C3XL. Well, where do you want to start? You want to start with local leagues? You want to start with products? You want to talk about webcast? What do you want to do?
Well, I guess the hot topic is Cup right now.
Talk about Cup.
Damage winning their first event of the season. First Cup in, 14 years, I guess?
Yeah, that sounds about right. That game was super unentertaining to me.
Yeah. I get two teams that are known for locking down the field. What more do you expect?
Yeah. Well, and last year, Fit won it by like 2 very quick points, right? But they were also playing against Impact at the time, which I think this is like the first year in 3 years that Impact wasn't in the finals for World Cup.
Yeah, I guess so, because they lost Dynasty in
They lost to
23.
and then Fit last year. So maybe 2 years. What you think of the webcast, the professional webcast? I'm gonna say the pro webcast.
Wasn't bad. Didn't really blow me away. Ironically, this is the one event that I've actually watched the most of the webcast, and I don't have Go Sports or whatever it's called now.
Mm-hmm.
Major League Paintball Plus, which kind of reinforces why I got rid of it. I think if I'm able to watch so much for free, why am I going to pay for a product why am I going to pay $15 a month for a product? Some constructive criticism, make events pay-per-view. Maybe do like $8 to $10 per event. I think they would actually draw more revenue that way, because I'm outside of the events. You got, I guess now you have Push and Harris for a Day and all the other Monkey with Gun content on there, but you don't really get much out of it, which that's another bone to pick for me. They went ahead, took away free paintball advertisement to try and push revenue. Like, it was awesome having Push, all the Monkey for a Gun films on YouTube readily available. And for grow paintball, those films are going to be what get people into paintball. You actually get to see the backstories and everything. And now it's just like they're going to gatekeep it and put up a paywall. I think it's a very short-sighted move.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was like, I guess my hope would be like, we're going to collect all this stuff and then sell out the library, right? Along with the live events to a streaming service. But I think like, and I like that they give a certain amount away for free, right? But like you said, like if I'm not a paintball player, I'm not going to pay to see the conclusion of the event. Like I think your conversion rate on a non-paintball player is really, really freaking small for that.
And they'll go, okay, that was cool. Now I'm gonna go watch
Yeah.
college football.
Yeah, or scroll on to the next YouTube thing, whatever that might be. That brings me to the UNXL / semi-pro stream. It kills me you got someone on there hosting it that doesn't know the basics, right? Like you are at the end of the season. I believe he's been there every time they've had that webcast. And I wish they would just do it even when the WNXL isn't playing. I enjoy watching the semi-pro and divisional guys play, sometimes more than the professionals play. Like what was it, Atlantic City? Like the pros played it Atlanta or Texas played it super fucking slow, but the divisionals actually played the field fast, and it was like fun to watch. I understand free webcasts. Like I'm not asking for like more cameras or anything like that. That would be cool. But the guy who's hosting it, like, sorry, man, but like you should know the storyline of the top 4 guys. You know, you should know who their coach is. Didn't seem like you knew who the collision coach was when they got their major, which ended their tournament and their chance at being pro. Didn't seem like you understood that. It didn't seem like he didn't know about the name change from Bear Ridge to the Jungle Cats. And I don't expect him to know the why, but like, hey, this is a pretty major thing that has happened to the sport. And it didn't even seem that he realized he was watching Champion Cup games and the implications of those. Matty Marshall, now when those guys got their on the pro stage, he obviously knew what was going on, but the guy on the semi-pro line had no clue. And I don't know if he was better with the women's stuff. It didn't seem like he was overly familiar with any of the women's teams either, which I've come around on that whole idea, right? Like I think initially I did not like it. I figured you're taking money away from semi-pro teams that have earned it in like the best case scenario, right? But after talking to people, I do think it has helped women grow or come into paintball having that league, right? But as far as for like from a technical play, I think that the semi pros are obviously better than most women's teams.
I mean, I don't even think you have to qualify with most.
I mean, it just is what it is, right? Like
I
the
mean, it is what it is. You have
heroines might have a shot
a legit semi-pro team. I'll say that. Not the semi-pros are like, hey, let's get a bunch of D4 and D3
and
players and
go
play semi.
play,
Yeah,
which is like it's just stop doing that. Like if you are not ready for semi pro, don't go to semi pro. It doesn't work. It doesn't work out. I think people, we've seen firsthand what happens when teams go from D3 to semi pro, right? Like, I don't think we've ever seen a successful transition
yeah.
without stopping a D.
And you had absolute chaos.
Mm-hmm.
They stopped their way through D3 back in, when was that,
14.
2015? Yeah, 14 or 15. Made the bump to semi-pro, and things did not go well for them. I know they did have some roster turnover too of some of their better players,
Mm-hmm.
but still, like, it's a huge jump. And I feel like D2 is kind of looked at as a no man's land, but it's also the division where people are the most realistic with their skills.
Yeah.
Like that give themselves an honest assessment.
Well, and if you look at it, right, the team that just won the pro spot, Jungle Cats, started in D2. And Wes is on here saying, he thinks most teams, when they form, should start in D3, if at all possible, right? Like you shouldn't go and form a semi pro team. But they went out, most consistent team. This was their worst showing, unfortunately. But they won one, and then the rest they got second at.
Fifth.
Yeah.
Which when places your lowest placing you had a damn good year.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
You had a
clearly
real damn good
them
year.
getting the spot.
Yeah. I was super stoked for those guys and stoked to have
A true Southeast team.
a true Southeast pro team in there. And then TPP crew, who won the first event, also came up from D2, right? Last year. I think if you make a huge jump, you better be very comfortable with not winning. Like if you don't stop in D2 and win there, you better be comfortable with not winning in semi-pro for a while. Unless you're going to retool your whole team, but then why would you not like take that year to learning to win at the divisions is a real thing, right? Like learning to get out of the prelims is a real thing for some teams. So if you aren't making out the prelims, I don't think you have any business jumping up, period.
Yeah.
Right.
Aside from D5 to D4, which is an automatic promotion.
Yeah. But other than that, like stay in the division and learn the lessons, man. Like I don't get it. Like it just doesn't make sense. Man, we went down a rabbit hole there, didn't we? Let's see. Oh yeah. So, but if you're commentating, like know what you're talking about. Like you are the guide. And if you aren't, you're like, I don't know if that dude's paid or whatever, or gets free flights. I don't know the deal. Maybe he's doing it out of the kindness of his own heart, but like, you should know the storylines. You should, if I was doing it, I'd be talking to those guys before their match, trying to catch them in the morning and, hey, tell me what's going on with your camp recently. Who are your studs? Yada, yada, yada.
At least shoot them a quick DM.
Yeah.
Give me a quick 30-second rundown.
Yeah, and if you are lucky enough to be on either webcast, like do those guys a favor and like have a hot sheet, a little bit about history, sponsors, and players, right? Like that's not going to hurt any, and that should be for like if you have a webcast at your local league, you should be doing that as a team for your commentator, right? Because a bunch of these local leagues have commentators now, like help them out so they can build that story. And maybe you can take those clips and do something really cool with it at the end of the year.
Also, from the semi-pro webcast, though, I thought that the angles and the lighting was some of the best I've seen since they started semi-pro.
Yes, way better than it had been for sure. They ended Cup early this year, right? And they were wrapped by like 3:00, so we weren't fighting.
At least the pros.
Yeah, at least the pros. Hey, Smoke just won 10-man, it looks like, by the way.
The series or the
World Cup and the series. So congratulations to the guys on Smoke. Guess I owe you a thing. We'll get to that later. A bunch of Carolina teams made the cut this year, which was kind of cool to see. Don't know if we had any win it, though.
Let's see. I'm looking at the scoreboard. I really don't see anybody that made it into the semis.
Yeah.
Unless here the Carolinas had a good representation.
Yeah.
At least from a X-Ball standpoint. Razorbacks won it.
Razorbacks won, War won. Who else? I feel like there was other Carolina team that won World Cup last year.
Barrage won D2.
Yeah.
Close enough to the Carolinas.
We're claiming, yeah. Yeah, I think that was it. But we had a bunch go deep. What do you think about the 3-man?
Honestly, I haven't watched a second of it. That's like the original one.
So they did a Wednesday 3-man, though, like an open 3-man. Do you like that concept? Don't like that concept? And then they had the regular 3-mans on Sunday, too.
I think it's much more palatable or watchable.
Mm-hmm.
And 3-man's always fun to play, in my opinion. You can kind of go rogue if you want and not completely screw your team.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I know that they are going to do the pro 3-man, like 3 events next year or something like that.
Yeah, and I think they're going to get to do it inside Raymond James Stadium.
That'll be pretty damn cool.
So that'll be cool. And kind of exciting to watch. What about all this JT stuff, man?
Want to talk about saturating market?
They had Thins come out. They had the QLS come out, and then Hydra PB Fit had their I'm going to call them thins adjacent frames come out. They got a little built-in visor on them. And then they got that rain lid that Deviate has made like super popular, like just a little cap that sits on
Yeah,
top of it.
got a little flip up.
But they had all that. I don't understand why release regular thins and the QES. Like originally I thought the QES was going to be QLS, yeah, was going to be the thins. Right. And I didn't have a problem with that. But then I realized, no, they're releasing regular thins and this new system, which kudos on to them, by the way, for doing the new system where it takes the spectrum lens instead of like a brand new lens. With that said, I feel like the HK RMX looks way safer than the quick release from JT. And I know that's like we all know it's going to fit a JT frame because the bottoms to that fit JT frames. So that's a new lens thing.
I mean, they had to make entire new molds for the thins, so of course they're going to pump them out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's clearly a market. Feel bad for the people who paid $150 for OG thins, and now they're worth.
Sucks to suck. I don't know what to tell you. I think that's insane. Doing, and the clears was an insane market, right? We traded a old ass 20-year-old goggle system for a G6R, 3 years ago, and obviously we felt we had a good deal, and the guy we traded him to thought he was getting a good deal. So everyone's happy. It's just nuts to me that that's where they were at. That I could take a $50 goggle and get a high-end, granted older gun, but high-end working gun.
And G6Rs are still heavily sought after,
Mm-hmm.
especially since it seems like a G7R will probably.
Yeah, not at this rate. Honestly, is like, why not just come out with the other run of G6?
Yeah, just do the exact same thing. You don't have to change a thing. It's already macro line lists.
It's got an OL board in it. Like there's nothing you need to change on that. And I think people will just buy a brand new one. You can change the body styles if you want, but I don't think that's even necessary.
Yeah, hell, a lot of the folder guns. If I want to remake the DM9 as like an entry level, or like at a $400 price point, I'd buy that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and that's like a really good gun, good bolt system. Guess you'd have to like if they even make those solenoids anymore would be the big thing, right?
Yeah.
So might have to get the guys on from Method to tell us about solenoids and if they still make those old things or not.
Have you seen anything on the Lux Air?
I've seen a little bit about it. It's an interesting like engine, to be sure. The front portion of the bolt looks very DSR, I would say, and then the thing in the back, and I forget what they're calling it, but it's nothing like I've seen before. So very interested to catch one out in the wild and see how they shoot. So definitely a little thicker than like your traditional Lux on the back end, but I think they did a good job of kind of keeping the Lux lines, if you will, while not being restricted by it.
Yeah. And this is just me scrolling right before we got on, but I saw somebody post who has a pretty good history of insight on one of the Facebook groups, and he said that the Air is pretty much what John envisioned the MXR to be. John Chambers from Method. Yeah.
Well, and that bolt system's very different, it seems like. Like, there's definitely some similarities, right? Like, you got the bolt and the stem, but those bolts look outside of the front end of it. Like, the working, functioning part seems to be very different.
I mean, I would pick one up to try it if I could justify it for as little as I play now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have Project Helvey too that never sees the field.
Yeah. For sale if you want it, the sexy police.
Yeah, I know. I'll let it go for fair market value, which I'll find. I don't even know what it is anymore. Sick looking gun, just I don't know. My shot with it isn't. It's not on.
Yeah, well, it's hard to go from like a single spool valve, right, to double stack. The G6R is way smaller than the LV, which I feel makes that transition a little bit easier. And I feel like the G6R body is just more like straight, if that makes sense.
And the LV is massive. It's probably the biggest gun on the market.
Yeah,
I
like just height
really,
wise, right?
yeah, height wise, like might be one of the heaviest, at least when you're talking about high ends,
Hmm.
which I really don't care about weight.
Yeah,
And coming up in the days when impulses and Jenny matrices were like 5 pounds,
yeah,
tacked on with another 4 pound tank and a hopper that sat probably about 7 inches above your gun.
yeah. I mean, those things were just tall. Whole setups were tall back then. You wanted that, the tall tube after the balls fed in, right? Like that was,
Another gun
eh,
and put in a 4 inch drop forward so you can keep it small.
yeah, yeah. So it's about a foot tall, and you can cram it right next to your face. What you think of the layout? You got to play it a little bit today.
Didn't really care for it one way or the other, to be honest. Felt like it was a pretty standard layout. You have to assume Snake 50 saw it.
Yeah,
Kind of sucks when you're up at one of those bricks because you have to turn your gun to that Snake 50 and
kind of
hopefully you
just
shoot them
wait.
before they shoot you.
Yeah, yeah. It's a waiting game at that point, right? If you were going to change the field, we got our stupid star bunker. What would you want to do to the field?
Maybe take away about 6 snake beams, like I don't know, like and how it was pre 2023, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, take away one brick and one wedge. That way, so there's only one of each. I think it works out that way. And stop coming out with upgrade kits. All what you're doing is fucking the field runners.
Yeah,
It's one way for Tom Cole and Sup Air to drain money from the sport.
yeah. I mean,
It's a fucking joke. I mean, sorry, I'll get on my high horse about this. Like, you're demanding people add bunkers every 2 years.
yeah.
And that star bunker, whatever you want to call it, that's not going to make it through a season.
No, that there's too many seams on that thing.
Yeah. It's like, why is there no longer mini X's?
Yeah.
It's the same bunker.
Yeah, it is. Like seam wise, you're dealing with about the same kind of shit. So
Except the mini X's were playable.
and players liked it. I think I did a poll on it, and it was like 68% did not like the new bunker. And it's also like I believe it's a single bunker. It's not two. So you aren't going to have that on two sides of the field, which means it's got to be at a 50, right? So I have a feeling you're going to see a lot of stuff like
So
that.
there's only one bunker for $900 for an up.
That's my understanding of it. I'll look it up real quick just to make sure I'm not full of shit. But
I'm really just stop with upgrade kits. We already have too many damn bunkers on the field. It's not like the player base is asking for new bunkers. It's just one more barrier of entry.
mm-hmm.
Fields already complained how they're not making money off of speedball players. So unless you have a high level team or running a tournament series, you're not really going to be that
Incentivized.
to buy the upgrade kit. Like I would not be surprised if PBC didn't get the upgrade kit. And quite frankly, I would not blame them, at least for the Greenville part.
Yeah. But that also like sucks for the local guys, right? Like now you're not going to get to, because it's fun to play on the national circuit layouts, right? But also like we got teams out of here that are going to do the Georgia League. They're going to do the MSXL. The 3-man league doesn't matter as much, right? Unless they get the new bunker and then they decide to use it, then it matters a lot. Yeah,
Which, Tyler, I know you watch. Please do not add this bunker to your layout.
yeah. And it's just like that just kind of sucks. I would have much rather seen some of the big bunkers taken away and had two, like if you took away, let's say the giant wedges, right? And then given us 4 Aztecs in exchange, like to me, that's going to create more movement possibilities. And then you can take your standard kit and, break it down into a Hormesis 1v1. So now that field's like way more versatile instead of going out and buying a Hormesis V1 field because it's got more Aztecs than you have in your kit. And I think that would allow the local fields to do some more fun things with it. And now, giving Hormesis credit where they are, if you're a field and you have had more than 2 bunker sets, you probably have enough stuff to break it down into a Hormesis field, right? In between the 2 sets. But I'd rather see something with some movement in it. I want the X back. It's called X Ball. Just give us 2 years of the X, man. If you want to take it away after that, that's fine. I do like sometimes on layouts being able to see the other start gate, but then other times, like, what I liked about the X was it was just big enough where like you could shoot over it, right? But you couldn't shoot directly over it. You had to edge out onto it. The bricks, like, you know,
You can drop them in.
you're shooting blind shots, but like the shots are still there. Where I feel like the X at a certain point, like you could either the amount of blind shots over that thing were way less. And there was one event where like I just shot blind shots the whole time. You know, I went out to the snake corner. Once the snake corner was killed and they started calling everything else, be like, well, the D2's kind of over this. So just shoot over the brick. Oh, and then wait for the guys on that side to tell me, that person's out. I have no clue if I hit them or not. And like as a player, that's super unsatisfying.
Yeah.
No. Oh,
I
well,
love seeing my paint bust on somebody.
yeah, I mean, that's the fun thing, right? Like seeing that paintball hit and make contact is the fun part. If you and your buddy are both shooting a blind shot at this guy and then all of a sudden he gets out, it's just not as exciting. Got to see the carbon drive loader today in person for the first time.
Looks nice, but not $300 nice.
Yeah. It's we said this out at the field. You can get like a LTR for like $99, right?
Yeah. It's going to do the same thing without time.
Yeah. And I mean, I think after that $99 price point, like you're just paying for what you prefer, right? We both shoot the Bunker King loader. I didn't shoot it today, but I have one in my bag. You shot one today. And that's preference, but I would say that one's even like that's a pricey loader. Like because that one, like once you get done with the bells and whistles, and if you want the expanded shell, right, you're probably sitting right around $300 too.
In fairness, at least when I bought mine, it felt like Bunker Kings was doing like some kind of buy 4 parts and get it like.
But yeah, they do deals all the
or
time,
whatever.
so you can get into it for around like 2, right?
Yeah, I think I got into it for like 185 or something like that. Brand
And
new.
you don't necessarily need the ramps.
No. I got the front ramp. I don't think I ever bothered with my
Back one.
I've had that thing running for guess 4 seasons now.
Is that how long you've had that?
Yeah, I bought it right before our D5 season with 3 laps. And it's been my go-to hopper for probably 80% of the time too. I'll break out the R2 every now and then. So you're looking at probably 400 cases through that thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
At
easily.
minimum. If I actually played this year, it'd probably be closer to 6.
Just scrolling the interwebs here. Apparently, 2 people supposedly got shot in the eye at Cup. So that's no bueno.
Yeah. Wear your chin straps.
Through netting.
Oh, shit.
One at the pro field. So might be seeing a new pro league soon.
Yeah.
Depending on litigation. That sucks. So if you guys are out there and listening to this, hope you are okay. Because that shit is scary as hell.
I am not going to say which regional league it was because they handled it, but I know we had a situation at a field, and when we brought it up to the league, they were they fixed the issue, and it wasn't, nobody lost sight or anything.
No, but that's that's an important part of field maintenance that I feel like some people overlook a lot.
Yeah, making sure your main safety.
What do you feel like fields are doing these days? Like, our field's more professional these days, less professional. It's hard to be less professional considering when we started. It's doable, but you really got to put some effort into it.
It's up to the management of
Yeah.
each field. I'm really it depends how serious you take it. It's hard to make money in paintball, so it can
Yeah.
be kind of taxing to really want to put a lot of money into it.
Yeah, but like Palmetto Hills is doing well with it, right? And they have like great equipment and take really good care of their fields. Greensboro does very well. And that field is taken care of. Callie does everything he can
Yeah,
at Greenville. Not talking bad about it. It just is what it is. I really want to go down and see former Paintball Charleston
yeah.
and
I'm
see what
that was
changes that
a
has made.
facility. I'm sure it will still be. The name escapes me who bought it.
Outdoor Extreme.
Yeah, but they have a top notch. At least from the pictures, it looks like they have a top notch facility in
Yeah.
Virginia. So I don't see why it would be any different in Charleston.
What are your thoughts on the circuit? We got the season already come out. We're going back to Tampa Bay.
Like Tampa,
Yeah,
uh,
that's
what
what I was about to do.
Tampa's a good starting event. I don't see why they picked out Dover Dell.
Tom Cole wants to go home.
Then get to like Chesapeake Sports Park or something. Are they going to play in the middle of the speedway? Like that
That
could
would
be
be
really
my
fucking
guess.
cool.
I
Yeah,
mean,
like if
yeah.
they're going to play in the center field or whatever they call that speedway, like yeah, that'd be really cool. But so I doubt Dover Delaware has enough hotels for everybody.
Hey, there's the Air Force Base there.
And then like, so what? You're going to fly into Philadelphia and be 2 hours away, or fly into Baltimore and be 2 hours away?
Yeah. I think most East Coast guys will be driving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think at that point, like, I'd rather drive the 10 to 12 hours from the Carolinas
Yeah.
to go there.
And then we're going back to Cincinnati, Ohio, which, and by all reports, that's been like a really nice facility. And then back to Texas. I think that's the same spot. And then World Cup, they aren't telling us where it is, but
But we all know
we all know where it's got to be.
there will be outrage if they move it from Orlando.
Yeah. I could see them like working it back into Tampa, right?
Yeah, it needs to be in Florida. That's the only place where you're gonna get
Good
tolerable
weather.
or that you can count on good weather.
Well, yeah. So, I
From a
mean,
temperature standpoint.
you want it either cool or hot, right? You don't want it cold as balls. So, and even up here in South Carolina, like it's kind of rolling the dice.
Yeah, the Monday I got back from Iceland, it was colder in South Carolina than it was in Iceland.
Yeah.
And then this weekend felt great.
Isn't it was good weather all up and down the East Coast, I feel like.
Though if they want to move Cup like right outside of Charleston, that'd be fun.
That'd be dope. I would like to, I really feel like some of these middle events, I either want them to like buy a facility or have a long term agreement with someone.
Well, that's what I thought the Philadelphia event was.
Well, that's what we were told, right? Long term lease, and then we spent 2 years there and didn't go back. So definitely would like to see that. I think just having something, even a facility that has 4 standard fields, right? That operates year round in the right locations, very doable. And then those playing surfaces eventually over time could become turf, which if turf is done right, that's what I prefer to play on. Like something that is completely level, right? And it's the playing surface is not going to change throughout a 4 or 5 day event, which and World Cup's now a 5 day event, right? They started play on Wednesday.
Yeah, so that field, especially the pro field, it's just getting torn up.
Yeah, I mean it's that Florida dirt sand at that point. It's not even there's no way there's grass.
Nothing like sneezing and it all be black.
Mm-hmm. We
That's
did
one thing
not
I do not. That's the one thing I do not miss about missing Cup this year.
the black sand dirt.
And just Cup is always a fun time, but especially when you're playing all day, you're just so worn out.
definitely pay for it.
Every year I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get plastered." No, you can't if you're
No.
playing. Like, you can want to, but you cannot physically do it.
Well, last year, as hard as I tried, like, I just couldn't do it. Like, I think 10 man, I got pretty I got there, but, it was, I was hungover by the time we got home.
10-minute airball, I wanted to, but God forbid I have 2 sprained ankles and, "No, I'm too tired, I can't run." It's like, "Motherfucker, I have
Yeah.
2 sprained ankles, and I'm having to fill out to the corner because the person keeps on getting shot who's taking."
Mhm. Shout out Filthy. Thanks for having us. We did have a good time.
Dear God, my ankle. Ugh. I'm pretty sure my left one is still not right.
So did you even notice that they brought some semi-pro guys up to play pro 3v3?
Yeah, when I was looking at the score, I didn't watch any of the 3v3.
I watched Wrecking Crew versus Diesel, and Diesel won it, but Wrecking Crew looked really good against them. Where is it? Pro 3. Just trying to see who was in it that's not the usual suspects outside of the imports, which we definitely need to talk about. Collision got invited to do it. The New Zealand team got invited to do it, and I guess Wrecking Crew are the only ones. Let's talk about World Cup, right? World Cup supposed to be everyone comes, but we were having this discussion today about the top four conundrum, right?
Yeah, I mean, if Europe is putting a limit on how many American pros can play their league, why
Hmm.
does their season champ get to come over and get an automatic buy into Sunday?
Yeah.
Europe has de facto said that the Americans it's top league, and let's go to the season. So you're telling me that Breakout, good team, but they deserve a buy over Impact?
Hmm.
I'm going by end of season standings. I can't remember what the standings
I
were
mean,
again.
Impact was close to that for
Yeah,
sure. Like, I mean, they're fourth overall after World Cup. I would say they were probably around third or fourth going into World Cup. Uh, X Factor, I think, finished third overall. Pretty consistent. No, X Factor got third at World Cup. Didn't even realize that. I really want them to bring back that match, that third, fourth match like that. Make people play for that crap.
but yeah, like you're saying Breakout because, yeah, props to them. They won the European Championship and everything, but the league has already admitted that it's not the same caliber.
Yeah.
The U.S. side.
Well, Europe submitted that.
Yeah,
The European teams are the ones who said we don't want American teams and we want to limit the number of Americans on a roster. Tom Cole has been very consistent with that,
yeah,
that
yeah,
regardless of what they say to your face about wanting American teams, they don't want to have American teams.
yeah. So play big boy paintball when you get over here. Earn your way to Sunday.
So you're saying the top four should be
Top four should be from the NXL.
from the NXL North American League. And then you can still have those guys come over, but they have to play through prelims.
And how going off the top four teams from the standings, it only would have been two American teams.
Mm-hmm.
You would
That's
have
true. You would
well,
have had a Canadian team and a Russian team potentially. Well, and then you
yeah,
have
potential for Tauntaun.
and I count, Tauntaun they are a French team with a American franchise. So I also feel like the Tauntaun should be able to play in Europe. Like, I know it's against the rules, but that's just how I feel.
It's like they're a legendary European team.
Yeah. Like, if anyone should have the exception to the rule there. And I would say if they still want to limit us, fine. That's fine. But if you are a European based team, you should get to play in Europe, no questions asked. Right. And if you as a team and organization have either bought or earned your pro spot, then you should be allowed to play in both. Maybe you got like maybe that roster has to be locked before the first event and you can't add or take away from that. Obviously, like, flights are expensive. You don't have to fly everyone every event, but they can't play for someone else. And if a player, decides to quit, they can't go to any other team. Something like that would be fine. But then we have the issue of the South American team, right? We've been doing it for like 4 years now. It's all fun and games, but like
It's all fun and games until it affects relegation.
well, and that's the point, right? Like one team that's on the bubble, and let's just say the bottom four, one team gets to play that team and then the others have to play each other. Well, then you're getting a win. And some of those teams that are in for relegation don't have wins, right? Or have very few wins. I think the bottom four should have to play each other in the same bracket at cut and really fight it out for who's the best of the worst there coming out of that bracket. And I don't know what that would do to the rest of the brackets and how many spots you could still have for.
And the tricky spot with that is, well, then if you have the bottom four teams plus the South American team,
Mhm.
two of those are inevitably going to move on.
Yeah.
Unless you just say like, "Sorry, you sucked so much through the through the
For this
season, you do
season,
not get an opportunity to move on to cup." Which I mean,
I mean, back in the NXL day, you had to earn World Cup.
yeah,
Like when it first launched, and I know it was a whole season, but there was a year where like Trauma did not get to go to World Cup because they did not have a good season. I mean,
which
I think that makes that division or not division, but that group super interesting to watch then instead of, yeah, they're fighting off relegation and here they are playing against Diesel. Well, I mean, I guess Diesel would be in that group, but like that would make it super interesting, I feel like. And you know what? If you don't want to show up and play in your loser bracket that you earned being in,
you don't deserve a pro spot.
then you don't deserve a pro spot and we'll give it to someone else
How
for
many
the event.
semi pros would kill at the chance to be playing on the pro field
There'd be a
or
bunch.
in the pro division? Like, if you don't want to fight for your for your pro spot,
Hmm.
fine, just goodbye.
Well, and I think relegation makes the sport super interesting. I know they didn't like it, the pros, but Champs and Challengers was awesome back in the day. From a viewer standpoint, having that at every event, knowing that you especially getting the regulation matches, right? Like forced up the most, and now you have to play to see who's going to go down. Because you had Revo who like never went down, but always played the relegation match, and that kind of became their thing. Like, yeah, the not doing so hot, but every Sunday you got to play paintball for the right to really call yourself pro. So, and they earned it every Sunday. They were in it. So,
And I think champs and challengers in this iteration of the pro division would be really competitive because you have that tier of fit, impact,
mhm,
damage. I'd say those are the top three teams. Then X Factor to an extent,
yeah.
and then there's tier two that's pretty much down to like the 15th team. Like
I'd
if
say
you're
you have like 5 teams that are tier one, and I won't bother naming them. But then you have the rest of the league, right? Which is that solid 10. And then you have that five. And some of those teams in the past, I've even questioned, like, do they even want to be here? Right? Like a lot of those teams are the teams you see getting sold off and being bought into new teams.
I look at NRG, it seemed like they just were going through the nip motions. Where I know that there were rumors that they were trying to sell their spot. Well, guess what? You don't have anything to sell.
Hey, you just gave it away for free.
Yep. Yeah, let's see. The top five standings was Fit, Legion, X Factor, Impact, and Damage. And I do feel like there's a hard cut off after that. And yes, that is including Dynasty. It's not in the top five.
It doesn't include Heat, doesn't include Tauntauns, all guys that can go deep into a Sunday,
Yeah,
right?
Tauntauns could be included in that top tier. They have 2 second places and a
Yeah.
fourth. They really just had one shitty event.
Well, and Heat
My
for a
Dynasty,
rebuild, not bad.
what?
Heat for a rebuild year, not bad.
I kind of see like being how Revo was.
Jesus. Okay. Hot take.
They're going to be a team that will make Sunday more times than not. might win a game or two in Sunday, which honestly is how they've been for the last.
Couple years. Yeah, definitely got to change some more stuff or double down on what you changed last year and have the growth, right?
Maybe it's something to do with coaching.
Maybe.
Because what really the only players that they have are Moorhead, Monville, and Dizon from that core
hmm
that they got
Yeah.
rid of.
Looking at semi-pro stats. So 20 consistent, yeah, I'll give it 20 to 19 consistent teams in semi-pro this year. Oh, 19 that played every event. That's a pretty healthy semi-pro division with up to 36, 34 teams that attempted semi-pro at some point this year. Some of that's boosted by like the international guys that came on through, right? Who you looking at as top 4 for next year for semi-pro?
Well, we need to know. I mean, obviously, Jungle Cats / Bear Ridge are moving on,
So they're moving on. It's been rumored that Collision is buying a spot.
and then what happens with Wrecking?
I think those guys stick together. Like, there's
Well,
definitely
I'm
going to be
saying,
some offers.
do they get a do they try and buy a spot or just win it next year?
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people said this was Wrecking Crew's year, right? And like they didn't get off to a bad start. Fifth, seventh, third, and then
The
18th.
18th is what sunk them.
Yeah. I think before that they were sitting at third place. So
Like gone fifth instead of 18th, that would have been 60-point swing, 60 more points. So they still would have missed the cut, but it would have been.
they would have been up there though. Assuming Jungle Cats are gone, we know. Assuming Collision also gone, I think if Distortion stays together, which it seems like they've worked their stuff out,
I think you're really looking at Distortion, P Mob, possibly TPP as their top
along
three.
with Crew.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna throw the Jesters in there. They seem to have their shit together recently. Oh,
Not seeing I wouldn't say old school pro team, but
I can't remember if they played pro or not.
pretty sure they played pro.
I thought they were in Champs and Challengers.
Yeah, during Champs and Challengers.
Yeah. Yeah. I think P Mob depends on what P Mob shows up.
They're just wildly inconsistent.
Yeah. And then, they got third and they got fifth, 10th, first,
First,
and
22nd.
then a 22nd. So what P Mob is going to show up. And the difference in between the 22nd and the first, though, was they had, I think, 2 former Impact guys join them for that event. And then they left. At least one of them went back to Impact. And I also feel like they've, what does 187 do? Right?
Did they actually play this event?
They did. They didn't play as 187, which threw me off. They played as Upton Crew.
Or did they finish 15th
For the year or for the.
for Cup?
They played semi pro, didn't they? I mean, so if those guys stick together, I'd put them in the top 10 next year for sure. I mean, the All
And you still got,
Stars.
yeah, I was gonna say KC, Shut Up, We're Trying.
I feel like the All Stars made Sunday twice this year.
We got 2 12s and a 10th. That probably, I
Probably
think
3
top
Sundays.
12 is what
Yeah,
they
top
typically.
12 is Sunday. Yeah. And I think that they're probably, a piece or two away from making it.
Then what happens with Shocks?
Well, if the
Am I correct?
rumors are true and they're gutting Shock, some of those guys are going to get an opportunity, right?
Does
This is not what '07 or '06 where like you want 2 pro spots.
No, it's not. It's
So I don't see a benefit of the same organization owning 2 pro spots at all. I think that's bad for the league.
you win that pro spot and you sell that pro spot to fund your
Yeah,
season.
fund the other,
Yeah.
I guess the real question then is, well, those guys that won you the pro spot, what do they get? Like, that would kind of suck to win a pro spot and then have ownership sell it from underneath you as a player. But I think that's like the problem, right? Larger organizations is that at some point, like if Shock wins it, that's great, but they really got to become their own team at that point. And it's kind of weird having Aftershock and Shock in the same bracket, right? Kind of like Dynasty and Dynasty Entourage.
Yeah. Or Excessive and NRG.
Yeah. Well, and at least those guys were I mean, it's the same concept, right? They were in semi-pro trying to earn a spot. So
Yeah, and I want to say how the MPPL did it was top 3 and bottom 3.
Bottom two
Okay.
moved.
I knew it wasn't just 1.
Yeah, no, it was more. But semi-pro was also locked, I think, which would be interesting, right? Like, can you lock semi-pro? What does that do to D2? I think that makes people, I don't know how you lock it. Like, do you have to just take 20 teams that say they're going to play and then everyone else is D2 now? I don't know if that's exactly healthy for the sport. We got a lot of guys that I wouldn't want to see a locked semi-pro division, I guess.
I mean, well, then you lose teams like Find the Growl was put together in
Yeah,
a
and
matter
went
of
straight
3
into
months.
semi-pro, right?
And I think after really their first 3, I would say that there was a growing pain for the first 3 events, but after that,
Yeah.
they were a very competitive
Yeah,
semi-pro.
super competitive. They got second place. Vegas killed them there last year. Do you like the double points?
It definitely makes World Cup mean something different,
Hmm.
especially when you can go play Mounds and be a top 10 open team from playing
Yep.
one of them.
Yeah. You sure can. Top 10 in the world, baby, right here.
Yep,
Pick us up on your ICPL.
yep. I mean, it definitely does make Cup mean something more. It didn't work out for Fit, but, like, it would be nice to win the series and Cup.
Yeah.
Fit just had a huge margin on everybody else. Although had the Russians won Cup this year, they probably would have won the series.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I
the
like it
league,
personally.
I mean, it adds more to it, right? I think it does get complicated, especially with semi-pro when, European pro teams can come over and jack it up a little bit. Now the championship bracket does help that a little bit, right? If you've earned the top 4, you're going to be in the top 8 regardless.
Yeah, and then especially in that sense, because you are battling it out with people in the same situation. Because you can't, like, if you're in the top 4, if you're not in the top 4, you're not going to win the series going against
Yeah.
Cup regardless, even if it wasn't double points. So it doesn't really fuck you that way, and
Yeah.
it really takes away, like, okay, well, you can go, I guess, 0-4 at Cup,
Hmm.
but it's not going to sink your season
Yeah.
because I think everybody does. It would suck if you got first, second, third, and first, and then got to Cup, and for whatever reason, things just
Just,
didn't go your way, and you
yeah.
take home like a 17th, and you lose your prize money because of that. So the champions bracket definitely prevents that from happening.
Yeah. I mean, I think it also makes it a tight race in between those 4, though. Like, I mean, the Jungle Cats were so consistent this year that it was hard to catch them, right? But there was an outside chance that Collision could have. And depending on how if Collision had not gone beaten in the same round Jungle Cats did, then it could have been an issue in theory. Although the Jungle Cats did get 5th, and I think they had to get 6th place or less. What about the champion brackets for the rest of the divisions? Like it? Don't like it?
Pretty indifferent about it, to be honest. I really don't like it.
I would agree with that.
Although I don't think D5 should be playing national events.
Well, you even saw, well, they might have taken that off for other reasons. I don't think you saw a team play a full year in D5. I'm not finding one. Some teams definitely came close, but in fairness, they're like East Coast teams, and that's kind of easy to do, right? For East Coast team. But I really feel like D5, you shouldn't be playing national events. Money is much better spent somewhere else.
Yeah, if they want to have D5 at World Cup, fine.
So would you like to see D5 like just go, except at World Cup? Like they just take it out?
I mean, it's not like the NXL is relying on D5 money
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's bringing in that
because
many teams.
there's only a handful of teams that play it anyway. So, like, why?
Let's see, where were we? So Division 5, they had 51 teams throughout the course of the year. A lot of those teams played 1, maybe 2 events. There's a couple that played 3.
So if we go to Tampa, I want to say like the most that there was, like it was an 8-team division
Mm-hmm.
at Tampa, 5 teams.
Which, to be fair, like that is, I would call that a healthy local league, right?
But I don't see the point in having D5 X ball, D5 5 man at just D5 anything
Mm-hmm.
on the national circuit. Put there for World Cup because everybody wants to go to World Cup, and you don't want people.
No, I think World Cup needs to be the exception, not the rule, though, right? Um, and even if they wanted to do like a Champions Cup for D5, they could be like, hey, we are picking 4 leagues, and those are going to be leagues that if you win it in D5, you are a Champion Cup team, which could be like a cool prize for that.
Yeah, like you're looking at outside of World Cup, like 12 teams tops,
Mm-hmm.
which
Well,
is a good turnout for a regional league.
yeah,
I don't want to travel across the country to play to play in a 12-team division.
yeah. Well, and that's, that's kind of the joke of Tin Man, right? Like the amateur electronic Tin Man. It's super fun, but no one's traveling just for that, And kind of the same thing for like the open mounds classic division. People normally are not traveling just for that, except Shock.
Well, they have a team in every division, it seems like.
I also feel like they need to get rid of the 5-man division. Like if you want to keep it for Cup, that's cool. But like if we shrink down, right, the overall size, then possibly can go to some cooler places, maybe have some permanent infrastructure for national events, which would be nice to have a facility. And you could do one in Florida, right? It's not like Orlando's nice, but there's plenty of towns that would welcome you that you could have a permanent location at.
Like, here's a novel concept. Go ahead, only make it X ball D4 through, or hell, even D3,
Like it was back in the day.
3 through pro, and maybe go to paintball fields.
Maybe just toast it there. Then World Cup, you can do everything.
Yeah, I mean, World Cup is obviously the exception and not the rule. You want World Cup to be magical. You want it to be massive.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there are 4 paintball facilities that could hold a national in the U.S., and that's
Like
all you
as they stand
as they
now.
stand. Yeah,
Yeah, and like you can build a bitchin' facility. I know, like, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, it matters for weather, but like, you know, you want to find it within an hour of a major airport, which should be doable. So, or at least something where like, hey, I got to fly to a hub and then I'm going to fly to this other hub. Right? I know the West Coast guys want a West Coast event. At what point do we say, Mike, if we want you to be the international or the NXL West Coast and we're going to be the East Coast NXL and the, what he's premier is after D3 out there. So we'll come over there and host 2 events that coincide with your events for pro and from pro to deep. Or if you want to, give us 30 pro teams and have them divided into a conference, East Coast and West Coast. You could even change the conferences every year just to make it not so stagnant, right? You could have a East Coast, West Coast, a North and South conference, um, and just rotate it so teams are kind of mixed in, but it's still like a little bit easier for teams financially, right? Because getting 10 guys out there is a lot. And then you got pit crew and stuff. Like some of these guys are bringing in pit crew, right? Or their family members or guys that just like showing up to pit. But like if you're, yeah, I think that's part of the appeal of the 3-man, right? But going to a 3-man league would be, hey, like 3-man's fun. I feel like 5-man's the better format for the athlete, right? 3-man's super digestible and shit stuff, but I just don't. I feel like 5-man's the better format. I'd rather play a 5-man format than a 3-man. Or we go back to 7-man, but we can make the argument that that league didn't work.
I mean, there's an argument to be made, and
It didn't work. It went bankrupt. And even their format became like 7-man best of 3. So, and I do like the X-Ball format. I like X-Ball 3-man, super fun, but like I feel like 5-man is just a better format.
No, 3-man has its place. And I feel like the place that's bringing people in to the sport or into the competitive side, I should say.
I'm going to agree with you bringing people in. I feel like it also has a place in keeping people in, right? Like having these more open, or the C3 went to D4 this year. Like that allowed me and you to play an event together. We we would not have played an event together outside of the classic format this year if that wasn't around. Well, we played the Blitz together, which that's a format I'd like to see other places adapt to. Like that was super fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Sorry, I'm just trying to log into my PB leagues. It was a fun format. It was interesting how it was more so points mattered rather than matches per se.
Yeah.
That and the 3-man timeline was great.
I liked it. I felt like it gave you incentive to push, right? And then playing each team 3 times was pretty good too. Like I like that set. That way you aren't just playing someone once and they get lucky. But not that you can't get lucky twice, but it is harder. All right. Well, we'll see everyone else next time on the Planet Paintball podcast. Say bye, B.
No, bye. Aloha.
Aloha.